What do you think of this thing that's going on right now?
Well,
That I could come out after 36 years and say that you choked me at a party or you showed me your dick. Where are we going with this? Where are we? This is what I was scared of. This is the first time that okay, so now it's not about what we did 2 years ago or that I showed you my dick in a room or nothing like that. Now it's something that happened. So for 36 years while I was a judge, you didn't say nothing. And there's already women fucking saying no. Like, they don't even know the whole... Nobody knows the whole story. Nobody was there.
Well, I think that's the scary part, is that just because of the way things are now, is that not that they can't say it, but everyone immediately goes guilty, and you can't really recover from that. So, like, I don't have as much of a problem with them coming out if he did it. If they didn't do it, like, I think there should be a punishment if they didn't do it and have some repercussions for that. But if he did it, I don't have much of a problem with that. But it's scary to think about, like, someone could just say anything online, and if you get enough people behind you, no matter what the truth is, people are always gonna, like, I just saw one comic is gonna be in Boston, it's pretty coming up, and they said coming back after assault allegations, even though it came out that he didn't, like, it.
Oh, yeah,
he never did it. I was like, that's
about.
crazy.
Well, here's the problem: is that when there's a movement, there's momentum, and people get swept up into it, and that can be used for good. That can be used for bad. In this case, obviously, it's for good. You know, this movement is trying to help women see that they should be believed when they come out, that we have to not marginalize them right away. But then people get swept up in that, and they suddenly go, oh, this is part of that, as opposed to, let's judge each case on its own. Let's not say, oh, I'm already riled up because, you know, there's been all these cases that have been proven about men abusing women, so I'm already angry, and now let's grab this guy and put him in that same energy, as opposed to, let's look at this one individual case and try to judge it by those merits.
This morning I spoke to a friend of mine, Joe Lucci. And I met Joe Lucci probably in the 8th grade, and the band, the area where he lived was the wildest area in my hometown. There's 5 or 6 grammar schools. That grammar school by far takes everybody away. Like, they were doing shit in the 8th grade that nobody was doing in the town, and everybody had to catch up over the years. Like, they were the real deal. They had the field. They didn't just have Lincoln School, but they had the field and they had the rocks. And they were on the rocks every night, these guys, which meant they were out there drinking, smoking, fucking ghetto blasters with music. They were crazy. You could go down there at 4 in the morning and find people. Like, if we lived downtown, we'd go, let's cut through 64th Street Field. You'd find 8 motherfuckers tripping on acid. I mean, they were just deep. And he goes, I'm coming to the show to see you in West Palm Beach, and I'm bringing my wife. He goes, should I bring my daughters? What do you think? And I go, no. I go, unless you want them to know that I OD'd in your backyard. And me and him started howling. I went to his party. I was a junior in high school, and I went to his party like at 6 o'clock at night. His party started like at 4 in the afternoon, and I got there like at 6 with a gram of blow. I was in high school, and Quaaludes, but they were the counter Quaaludes. That's when I started eating the ones that people were making at home.
Yeah.
Which the table of crooked. Right. Which means that the thing leaks into the bottom ones, and these stay weak. Yeah. So I ate one of the weak ones first, and then I ate the second one, and all I remember is waking up in an alley at 4 in the morning with drool and puke all over me, and the next day hearing the stories.
Yeah. How are high school kids allowed to be drinking? I mean, obviously anyways, but at 4 p.m.? When I did it, we tried to hide it.
His parents owned the bar.
Oh, my God.
Oh, was that a bar?
His parents owned the bar, so they were always at the bar.
Yeah.
So he would have parties in his basement that were just legendary. But his legendary parties were before concerts. So I still remember going to his house. You ready for this, Joe Lucci? August 4th of 1979. They would start at 4. You'd get there, there'd be a keg of beer, and there'd be 12 guys and 12 girls or 20 girls or whatever the fuck. and people were smoking, snorting blow, eating pills. And then at about 6:45, we'd walk to Kennedy Boulevard, take the bus into the city, and walk to Madison Square Garden. Fucked up. And go watch. We went to see AC/DC and Ted. And he said all that. He goes, that was a rough one. He goes, I remember just Angus running through the audience on top of whatever's. But then we all have the same trait. He goes, I started doing that tradition way before anybody, before a concert, like meet at my house at 3. He goes, the first party I had was Monday, December 6, 1976. And he's my age. So he had to be fucking 13. He was 13. And he goes, I went to see Ted Nugent open up for Black Sabbath when he released Free For All tour. And he goes, guess what else happened that night? The Cleveland Browns beat the whatever in Monday Night Football. I mean, that's how good his memory was.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about how, could you judge me from that night? Well, you can't judge somebody from what they did 30 years ago, or I'd be under the prison.
Yeah, but drugs is different than holding down a woman against her will, trying to take her clothes off. You know, that stays with her. That thing, her memory of that night is going to be a lot more clear, because for a woman to be attacked like that is traumatic, and it stays with them, and it fucks up their head.
Now, why wouldn't a woman wake up the next morning and contact the authorities or contact somebody?
Well, because there's
hold it in for 30 years.
I mean, the whole thing about holding it in that long is it's a mystery to a lot of people. But I think the reality of coming out as a teenage girl at a time when you're embarrassed, you got a zit. You're trying to cover that zit on the way to school. You don't want to be noticed. You don't want to be the center of attention. And you're raised to respect people that are older than you, so you take shit for granted. If it's an older person, there's a lot of reasons why a girl that age doesn't want. Freshman year of college, I came home to the dorms. It was my first week in school, and I came home and we were snorting crank, because that's what this kid from Philly came to school with. I'd never heard of crank in my life, so we're snorting crank and drinking tequila, and then we go out to these parties, and we come back to the dorm, and now it's like 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning. And I see this girl, and she's walking up the steps of the dorm, and she's got her arms around two friends, and she's crying hysterically. And I go, what the fuck happened? And they said, well, she just got sexually assaulted by this guy. I go, well, where is he? They said he took off. He's wearing a Bellevue Middle School hoodie sweatshirt. I don't remember what it said, but it was something really specific. So I'm standing there with this other kid, Jeff, and I didn't know Jeff. I'd never met him before. We went on to become close friends, still friends with him to this day. I met him that night. And so they described this sweatshirt, and we go to Com Ave. Basically, BU's campus is built on one avenue. It's not round, it's a straight line. So we get to Com Ave, and we're in the middle of it. So I go, all right, I'll go up, you go down. Let's find this guy. So I run up, and sure enough, I'm 5'8", 150 pounds. Of course, I come on the guy, and the guy's a football player, and he's with a buddy who's a football player, but he's got the sweatshirt on. And I said, hey, they want to talk to you back at Sleeper Dorm. And we have a couple words, and then his friend comes over and he knocks me down, and then they take off. Just, cocky, so not at a sprint, just a jog away from me. And I'm on the ground. I find a very fine fruit punch bottle, and I smash it in half, and I chase these guys up the street. And they cut into Hamilton House, which was a dorm about 2 blocks away. And they go in, but the dorm, the security guard, there's a lobby, and to get through the door, which is bulletproof glass, that guy's got to buzz you in. So he's about to buzz him in. I come running in with the bottle. I go, these guys are wanted on the other campus for rape. So the guy doesn't buzz him in. 2 guys turn on me. They come at me. I hold up the bottle. I say to the guy, call the cops. He calls the cops. It takes about 4 minutes. And I got these 2 football players, and I got a bottle. And I got them. And the cops show up, and they take statements from everybody. And everybody goes home. And I got a call from the head of the dorms about 4 days later saying that these guys are pressing charges on me for assault with a deadly weapon. And that the girl who got assaulted, she's not pressing charges. because it's her freshman year. It's the first week of school. She's been taking SAT prep courses, taking AP classes in high school, all leading up to this experience. College is her first week. And she decides, I don't want to spend my freshman year in a courtroom. I don't want to get taken apart by the prosecution. I don't want to, whatever. And she wasn't raped like penetration, but she was assaulted.
Which means?
I don't know. Could mean a lot of different things. But I mean, she wasn't penetrated. So, not that means anything, but just the reason I say that is because I was thinking about a rape kit, and there wouldn't have been a rape kit in this case. So she didn't have to undergo that. So I say to her, look, you gotta press charges on these guys. So we did that. She leveraged it. She goes, well, if they don't drop the charges on Greg, I'm pressing charges on that guy for assault. So it all came out in the wash. They dropped the charges. She dropped the charges. We went on. But it made me think at that time, you don't put yourself in the reality of a woman is up against when she's got to press charges. And what else is going on in her life that would give her the flexibility and the strength and the independence from everything else in her life to be able to follow that track. And it might not have been the time for her at the time that this happened. She's at Yale. This other girl, she was a Puerto Rican girl at Yale. That was half of 1% of the population. She was low income. She was there on scholarships. She already felt like she didn't fit in. Everybody else at Yale is wearing fucking corduroy blazers with leather patches on the elbows and pipes. And here she is, this Puerto Rican girl, probably wearing Sassoon jeans and a halter top. She doesn't know how to fit in. And now she's going to press charges on a guy who's Kavanaugh. This guy who's a made man. His father went here. His grandfather went here.
And this
so she sat on it.
This is a reality on college campuses.
Right.
Because I used to hear about little things in Boulder that would I wasn't a private investigator, but I would just hear things.
Yeah.
You just heard little things that this fraternity was kind of crooked or whatever, and girls pass out and they run trains by them and shit like that.
Right.
That was never really my thing. I didn't understand that whole thing.
Yeah.
10 Planet Kush, it drains the lactic motherfucking acid. People won't cop to it. The health specialists say, no, that doesn't happen, Joey. Yes, it fucking does. I got friends in Harvard, bitch. I'm like Garth Brooks. I got friends in high places, motherfuckers.